Right, so here we go, another Instagram Live. Got some good guests today. This Instagram Live is obviously not just about the huge names, they're about fighters coming through, fighters who I believe are going to be future stars, making sure that the fans can get to know them, get to understand them. And yeah, I know I should have kept the beard, but I lost it. So as we know, another 3 weeks of lockdown. But the good news is, when I woke up this morning, I realised that it's actually 2 weeks and 6 days left. And I really believe that if we all listen to the government, I think that after that, they have to let us back to some kind of normality. I know it's got to be safe, but we got to get going. We've got to get moving. We've got to get moving, but it's got to be right and it's got to be safe. So I hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's positive. Today we've got a great lineup. We got Shannon Courtenay, one of the best young female fighters coming through, a real fan's favourite, great story. We've got the Olympic gold medalist, world title challenger, now the mandatory for the WBC title, Campbell. We got Kid Galahad, mandatory for the IBF featherweight world championship. We got Zelfa Barrett, our new signing from Manchester, great young fighter. We got, in my opinion, one of the top young fighters in the world right now, Cordina. And we finish off with the special one. So we're going to get cracking. Shannon Courtenay, if you're there, which you are, these things are so smooth. We hope we get another one today. So we haven't missed a guest so far, and we're tuning in to Shannon now. Hello there.
Hello.
How are you?
Bored.
I know. How is it? Like, one of my worries, I've got to say, I shouldn't say it because I've got a big mouth, but we're planning something pretty special for the comeback. Like,
yeah.
We appreciate that. It's probably going to be a little bit of time before we can go back to the packed arenas and the 70,000, 80,000. But one thing that I've been thinking about in the last sort of 24, 48 hours is fighters. I think we got a chance for end of June, right?
What, behind closed doors?
Yeah, but it's not that far away. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what's that? We're in April now, so what, May, June, so about 10 weeks.
Something like that, 8, 9, 10 weeks. So like I was talking to AJ last night, and he was like, I really need 12 weeks from where I am because I haven't started my camp. So yeah. I'm training, but there's only so much you can do. And obviously, you're at a slightly easier situation whereby we know you need a proper camp, but you are going to be in 6-round fights. So how far away? Like, if I turn around tomorrow and said to you, right, blimey, we got the all clear. How long do you need before you're ready to fight?
Well, I've been training
professionally,
like
not just you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just get in there. You know?
I'd say probably a 5-6 week camp.
Just the sparring,
to get sparring in, yeah. Because I've been running every day. Like, even, it's Friday. Is it Friday? Yeah, it's Friday.
I don't even know. Yeah, Friday.
This week I've clocked up like 36 miles already running. I'm doing 12 threes in the bag every day. So I'm just keeping myself fit.
How's your weight? How's your diet? Is it easy to be as disciplined on, or not? Is that a silly question?
No, because you're sitting there and you think you're bored. And you think, well, I might as well have a chocolate digestive because I'm not fighting soon. But I have been quite clever. I've been sticking to like my main meals and having like a treat probably once a day. But as of next Monday, I'm gonna stop doing that altogether. Because if you're saying it may be 10 weeks, then I want to start cracking on just in case because I want to be ready.
I've noticed that you tend to put a lot of long runs. I don't want to make this like too boring for people, but I've noticed that you've been putting a lot of long runs in, and you seem to do that quite a lot. And I saw Terry Harper the other day putting a long run. Someone else was Ricky Burns, I think, ran a marathon, but he's a nutcase. But are you running longer distances now, or you always put those long runs in?
No, so normally I would do 2 long runs a week, and the rest of like my runs are sprints or hill sprints. But you know what? The reason, and I'll be honest, the reason I'm doing long runs is purely for my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. I live on my own, so I'm isolated on my own, and I struggle with like anxiety and stuff. So just going for like a long run, it's the best thing mentally for me, and it gets you out of the house for an hour.
I saw your couple of like cryptic comments on Instagram and stuff like that, where you've alluded to the fact that you have been struggling a bit mentally. In the last couple of. Do you want to talk about? I think it's good to talk about. I mean, I think it helps.
Yeah, I just think I found it hard. Like, I finally got a punching bag last week, which turned it all around for me. Now, like, I'm okay because I can go punch a bag. But when you're sat indoors on your own and all you can do is like 1 hour worth of running a day, it's hard. And there's only so much TV you can watch and it gets boring. I'm sick and tired of my phone now. And then you're having the same conversation every day. Oh, what are you up to? Nothing. What about you? Nothing. And you just get bored, don't you? So my problem is I like to be in camp all year long. If I could be in camp for 12 months a year, I'd love that.
You'd be happy.
I like being active, so to me it's hard.
I think for a lot of people, like, boxing has given them that discipline, that structure in their life where it's changed their life. Like, you're a great story where we know about, what it did for you and how you changed you, like, physically, mentally, and without that, it's difficult, because that's the thing that keeps you sane, really.
It's not even just that. I know that I'm not the most talented fighter, so that's why I work twice as hard.
Well, that's a little bit harsh.
No, but I
You've only had a couple of fights.
No, but I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm not naturally talented, and I know that I haven't got that Olympic background or the 100 amateur fights background that other girls do, like Katie Taylor or Savannah Marshall. So I know that I have to work harder than them. That's why I like being in camp all the time. That's why I like to be active. That's why my fans are continuously harassing you, saying, when's your next out? Because I like to be busy.
You do that well. Yeah, you do that well. You do that well. I mean, you haven't boxed this year so far. No. And you were due to box in April. So it is a long layoff for you. I mean, the best case scenario for you is going to be June. So it's going to be, I know you boxed in December, but it's disruptive to everybody.
But do you think the likes of AJ will fight behind closed doors? Or do you need that to be with an audience?
In my opinion, that shouldn't happen. Right?
No.
So, because my personal feeling is what we've built in boxing, and boxing is all about energy. It's about the moment. It's about the visual impact for a TV show of having thousands of people screaming Sweet Caroline, national anthem. But fighters need to fight. And that goes down from 4-round fighters to unified world heavyweight champions.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, speaking to AJ yesterday, sort of saying, well, in an ideal world, he'd box end of July, August. But he also needs a 12-week camp. So I've got to start my camp soon. And then it's like, well, if I'm only going to fight once this year, does it matter if I go in September, October? Like, you can plan out your career a lot better in that kind of scenario where, okay, well, Fury and Wilder are going to box in October and I want to fight the winner. So if I box in October, I can fight the winner in February, March, April, right? But with you guys, it's like, you can't get to a situation where, for me, there's some really good fights that can be made behind closed doors, because we've got to provide for the fans, we've got to provide for the broadcasters, and we've got to keep the sport moving, and we've got to get you guys paid. That's what some people also don't understand. I mean, you're lucky enough that I pay very well, obviously, Shannon, and you're lucky enough you've got some sponsors as well. So you're okay till June, July, but imagine it starts going to September, October,
but you know
November.
What? I've actually lost sponsors because of this.
Right.
I've had
this is a great chance. We've got 2,400 people. If there's any companies out there looking to sponsor fighters, Shannon Courtenay is the one to sponsor. Right? Great image, great story, understands the business, understands social media, can really fight, loads of airtime coming up, TV time. This is the moment. But
good banter and all. I've got good banter.
Arguable. But if you do need a few quid, you can always phone me for an advance. You know that, don't you? Genuinely. I've said this, no, but I'm serious. Like I say, at the end of the day, people can't be shy to come. We're here to help you as well. I feel like a 3-month delay is not going to be the end of the world financially for our kind of fighters, I hope. Yeah. But if it is, we've got to help them out as well. Everyone's got to help everyone. But I really believe that there's certain fights, and it might be, looking at our cards that have gone. Chris Congo against Luther Clay, right? These kind of fights, Fabio Wardley against Valili, Conor Benn, like, these are the kind of fights that can be staged behind closed doors. Yeah. Once you start getting to the bigger stuff, for me, that should be in front of a crowd. But
I agree.
But it depends. Like Dillian White, I spoke to him this morning. He don't really want to wait till September, October, November. So if he has to box behind closed doors, then so be it, because you can't wait. It's a short career. You're in your prime now, and you've got to. Someone said, "Let her speak, Edward." So sorry.
Genuinely, I'd fight anywhere right now. If you said to me, Shannon, in 4 weeks' time, I'm having a show in the back of my garden.
You probably used to fight down the pub or over the car park anyway.
No.
So, no.
I don't know about girls from Essex, but that's not me. Thank you very much.
Well, you're only from Watford. It's not exactly far.
Still over an hour away, isn't it?
Yeah, not at the moment. It's about 15 minutes down the M25 at the moment.
No traffic.
Listen, we've been racing through. We haven't even talked about your career. Last question. Talk about where you're at now. Again, people probably get bored of press conferences where I'm saying women's boxing at the moment, but it is incredible what is happening. The amount of fighters that are prepared to step up and have defining fights incredible. Like, you look at it now, yourself, you've got Ellie Courtenay coming through. I think she's going to be a really good talent. And then obviously at the higher level right now, Katie Taylor, Terry Harper doing fantastic things.
Yeah.
Savannah Marshall fighting for a world title. Chantel Cameron going to fight for a world title. It's the perfect time, isn't it?
It's getting bigger and bigger now, especially because they've now put the Olympics back another year. It gives people like us the chance to even get another year ahead before the next cycle comes through for us to make a bigger name for ourselves. So like, I want to start, obviously I'm not going to be fighting anytime soon, but I'd like this year, as long as obviously you and Adam and Charlie agree, I'd like to fight for maybe the Commonwealth this year. I've got my eyes set on what I want to do, and then obviously next year should be a big year for me. But I just, as it stands right now, I just want to fight. But I'd like to, within 2 years, have the career defining and life-changing money fights as well, because that's what it's all about.
Of course. Well, listen, you have a big future. Stay focused, stay mentally strong. It won't be long. You'll be getting a phone call from me in the next 2 weeks with a fight date, all right?
Perfect.
All right, Shannon, thanks for coming on.
See you later. Bye.
Always good to speak to Shannon. Always super honest. We're going to go now to, if we can find the main man, Luke Campbell. Here we go, firing him. Of course, great fight with Lomachenko recently, and now due to fight for the world title. Luke Campbell, what's happening?
Hey, not a lot. What about you?
I know. That's probably the most common answer on all these Instagram lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, not a lot.
What's happening in Hull?
I haven't been out. Oh, I had to go.
Oh, that was awful. That was.
I'm trying to grow the full thing.
The goatee. The goatee, yeah. I reckon you'll.
The sides are coming.
I reckon time we come out of isolation in 2022, I reckon you'll have it.
I reckon it's not a bad shout. The sides are coming along, but slowly.
You'll have to have the Conor Ben implants. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, is there an implant?
Yeah. Interesting experiment. How's things up there? How's the family? Everyone good?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Just keeping busy with the boys, training every day. Just keep trying to fill the day as much as possible, really.
I mean, that is one thing that we have to take the positives out of this. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is doing my absolute nut. I can't say it too loud because they're downstairs, but my God. I mean, like, I know you love your kids. I love my kids, but oh my God. Like,
and school's starting on Monday at home.
I know.
As well, so I'm dreading it.
I mean, I've got to go. I've got to go somewhere. I'm going to go down the bottom of the garden or something. I don't know. But it is, homeschooling is so difficult. But listen, you spend most of your life down in Kent now, in camp.
Yeah.
So you have had a lot of quality time with your boys.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I guess what's the worst thing? You know, I'm stuck at home with my family, so we're all healthy, everybody's happy, and we're just waiting out for the world to beat this virus so we can get back to our busy schedule.
You were due to go April 17 against Javier Fortuna, so in a way, frustrating that you missed that boat, but also in terms of the queue, you're at the front of the queue when we do come back for that fight. When we did our Fight in Fit series, which if you haven't watched yet, download on Sky. It's every morning at 8 a.m. If you saw my one the other day, it was hilarious. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever. I mean, I just.
They are tough sessions, though.
Mate, I put a padlock on my fridge, and I've just thought, Ed, you got to stop. Game over, mate, because
I couldn't move for 2 days after that.
You were a machine. You know that when you left that day, everybody said, "Oh my God, Campbell, you did 3 sessions, right? 3 hit sessions." Yeah. The trainers and everyone said, by far, out of everyone they had, and they had some proper athletes down there, and Lawrence Okoli, and
proper athlete.
Yeah, and you were a machine. So you are fit. You are super fit.
Yeah.
Same question to you, which I asked to Shannon. How long do you need? Because at the end of the day, is it just the sparring? I mean, because I'm hoping that we get some kind of action end of June, right? But I feel like your fight's going to be July, maybe August, something like that. But, you know, it's not that far away.
I got asked that question the other day, like, when we can go back out and start competing again, like, do you need a full training camp? And I don't need a full training camp because, I mean, I just more or less trained a full camp, all but 4 weeks. So I was fit. And now I'm ticking over nicely at home. I'm doing hard sessions, medium sessions, and my level of fitness is decent at the minute. But obviously, I will need to go back, and all we'll need is probably sparring and some pad work. But other than that, we'll be good to go.
Now, I'll ask you the question. I think you are one of the people that obviously the plan with these Instagram lives and with the whole building profile of fighters is to stay relevant, keep people calling out your name, mentioning your name. You're one of those guys that's had that a lot this camp, because Mr. Devin Haney, you know, one of our other clients, has been talking a lot. And for those that don't know the situation, obviously the WBC, when Devin Haney was injured, the WBC ordered him into recess and ordered you for the world title against Javier Fortuna. He's now making a campaign saying, well, I'm back now. I'm not in recess, so I should still be champion. But obviously, we also know the WBC have ordered the fight between you and Javier Fortuna. You have submitted your thoughts to the WBC. He has done the same, and we expect a ruling. But from your position, confident that that ruling should stand?
I mean, I'd like to think so, because, you know, it's of no fault of my own to be given something, train.
That's all right, got you.
Yeah, so it's of no fault of my own that I've trained really hard for something. Obviously, with what's going on in the world, you know, freak incident of what's going on in the world, and then potentially I could have the world title fight taken away from me. So obviously I'd be upset about it. I get what Haney's done. You know, he's looking out for himself, and that's fine. But you know, when you've been given something and taking it away from no fault of my own, it is pretty gutting if they do that. But it is what it is. One way or another, I'll get there. You know, obviously we're waiting on their decision, but yeah. What's your thoughts on that, anyhow?
My thoughts are, I understand both arguments. You know, it's difficult for me. I said to you on the phone the other day, I got Devin phoning me up saying, well, you got to tell the WBC, I'm ready. I should be reinstated as champion. And I've got you saying, well, hang on, they've already ordered it. And they have ordered it. It's very difficult to agree a deal like we have done with Javier Fortuna, and then for that to be for an interim title, because that deal actually changes. But personally, I don't think they should have ever put Devin Haney in recess. He was only out till June, but they did. So that's the problem that's been caused here. And obviously you're right in what you say. It's of no fault of your own at all. You've been ordered to fight the WBC world title. He probably should go into recess. Maybe you just fight Devin Haney straight off the bat for the world title. And I know that you're quite quiet and quite reserved. You phoned me the other day and you said, I've got this interview and I'm talking about the situation. I said, well, talk your mind, Luke. And your mind, you know, the general basis of the conversation was Devin Haney talks a lot and he ain't fought no one. Right?
Yeah.
So, and he does a very good job. And listen, he's a brilliant fighter and he is prepared to fight everybody. I know that for a fact. But, you know, your sort of comments were, well, I've boxed a lot. Here he is. Devin Haney's on. He's on. He's just put a message out. He's done the horny sign. You're obviously making him horny this morning, Luke, ready for that fight. Do you know what I mean? But the fact is that your thoughts were, I've boxed Lomachenko, I've boxed Linares. You know, we know you come up short in those fights. Yeah. Linares won very, very close. But what's your thoughts on Devin Haney? And you got the floor now because he's watching you right now from his bed in Las Vegas.
Listen, I've never been one of them fighters that start slagging another fighter off. You know, at the end of the day, this is a sport, and
do it, Luke. Do it.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, if he's in my way, I'll fight him, not a problem, and I'll beat him, not a problem as well. You know, like you say, he does talk a lot. He's obviously got in touch with the WBC to be email champion yet again, which is fine. You know, if that's the way he wants to do it, or you know, I'm here to fight, and I want to prove that I can be the best, and that's it.
One fight I know you won again is Jorge Linares. That was a great fight. We know you lost your father just before that fight. I felt like you shouldn't have even been in that fight, really. Very brave of you to go ahead. Talk about, before we go on to Lomachenko, because I know a lot of people are coming in with popcorn and all sorts right now about you and Devin Haney. And he's actually messaged saying, speak your mind. Do you rate Devin Haney, and how do you beat him, and what makes you so confident that you beat Devin Haney?
I just believe in myself. I believe in what I've got, my skill set, my heart, and everything else to go with it. Obviously, Devin Haney, he looks like an all-round solid fighter. But you know, I've boxed three former world champions and 2 3-weight world champions, both in the top 10 pound for pound. This one I fought him. And you know, Haney's yet to be tested. Obviously, he's calling everybody out. So obviously, that being said, let's fight. Let's see him against someone who's highly rated, who's proven himself at world level, and let's see how he does. Is he going to sink? Is he going to swim? We'll have to find out.
Devin Haney, I know you're watching. Are you going to sink or swim? Are you going to sink or swim? Listen, for me, I think when we look at that lightweight division at the moment, Luke, it
Yeah.
is unbelievable. For me, I
Yeah.
think it's the hottest division in the sport. You know,
And this is what
Lomachenko,
it needs.
Teofimo Lopez, you, Devin Haney, Fortuna, you know, so many other fighters as well in the mix right now at lightweight. And we've got to get, when we come back to boxing, we need to see these fights. We need to give the fans these round robin matchups.
Yeah, no, exactly. And this is what it needs. It needs talent. It needs big names and people that are well known in the division to make it so exciting. To the likes of myself, Lopez, Lomachenko, Haney, you know, Ryan Garcia, Devonta Davis.
Oh, Ryan Garcia. I forgot to mention Ryan Garcia as well, by the way.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
These are the characters that it needs to make an excellent, exciting division. And I'm excited to be in the mix with all these. And, you know, I want to go out there and prove I'm the best.
Good, man. Well, listen, stay ready. We're going to move on now. Thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
And
Appreciate
get those big fights made soon. Cheers, Luke.
Definitely. See you soon.
Bye, mate.
Bye.
Bye. Olympic gold medalist, world title challenger Luke Campbell there. Listen, I love it when people come on and start goading people. Hey, Devin Haney, hope I won't have to beat Luke down in the arena with no fans. Devin Haney's ready for these fights. I think Haney against Campbell, great fight. What a time for the lightweight division. Now we're going to move on to someone I believe will be the next big star from Manchester, Zelfa Barrett. Zelfa, are you there? Let's have a little check out. Here we go. Yo.
Yes. What you saying?
How we doing? How's the Manchester Wi-Fi?
Yo, it's all right still. It's all right.
We just did a little whole Wi-Fi with Luke Campbell, and it was sort of like a little bit in and out. But how's things in Manchester? I've seen you've been staying very busy.
Yeah, man.
A lot of tough runs.
You know? The sun was out yesterday. I've been on my bike. I've been running. I'm ready. Like, you know, as soon as we can fight, I'm ready. I'm more than ready.
Obviously, your original date, July 2nd, Manchester Arena. You are, the good news for you, Zelf, is that you are in the category of someone that can definitely fight behind closed doors as well as the big arenas. I know that at the end of the day, everybody wants to fight in the big arenas in front of thousands of fans, but you also need to fight. You also need to progress your career. You also need to get paid. So everybody seems to be more than open to the idea of a closed door fight if that's what has to happen.
Of course, I'm more than ready. You know, it's not like a spar, but it's all professional. And, you know, if that's the case, then I'm more than ready for that. You know, I'm in shape. I've been running. My weight's good. I eat good every day. My mum looks after me with good food, so I'm ready.
Do you know, a lot of people talk about, interesting you said there about a spar. I know you're quite, listen, you're a flashy fighter. You're a reaction fighter. You're reactive. And I can see that you're going to strive in the big arenas. You live off that buzz.
Yeah,
you know?
that tribe, yeah.
How difficult is that to go in? And we saw with the UFC recently, like it was behind closed doors. We didn't really see the fire and the buzz in the matchups. Obviously, you haven't got the energy, but it's about being professional, isn't it? And I do feel that it's kind of like banana skin time for guys behind closed doors who could go in and, to be honest, like mess up their career by not being switched on at that moment.
Of course, you know, but it's a job and it's my lifestyle. I live for boxing, so when it's all said and done, I'll be ready. And it's like I say, it's my lifestyle. I've nothing else I can do. Boxing is my life, so if that's the case, then, you know, I'll just take it on and I'll do it, and I'll look good doing it in front of 3 people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, definitely be more than 3, but might not be 2 anymore. Listen,
yeah.
When I remember that, obviously you joined us recently. I'm delighted to have you as part of the Matchroom Sky Sports, the Zone team. I watched you for a long time coming through, and you know, when you watch other fighters who are with other promoters, you sort of think to yourself, you know, you're trying to convince yourself and say, nah, he ain't all that. I don't need him anyway, you know. And like you were coming through, and I was thinking, fuck, he's good, this kid. Sorry, my language. He's good, this kid. You know what I mean? Manchester. Whenever there's a kid out of Manchester, I get excited. The fans are unbelievable. Then you went into a fight with Ronnie Clark, and I remember watching that fight. I couldn't believe really what I was seeing. I want to address that fight first. I mean, look, no disrespect to Ronnie Clark. He's a tough old boy. Gave Martin Ward a great fight as well. But what went wrong for you that night in the build-up? Because you've been flawless again ever since.
Of course, you know, when you look at my performances against Woodstock and Makore, I'm a different fighter. I took the fight in 3-week notice. Never done 12 rounds in my life. Never. I sparred twice, Jazzy Dickens and a kid called Eli Murphy, only 6 rounds. So it was like more of like risk or reward. Like, I'm a fighter, so I'm not gonna say no. And I thought I was gonna prevail, and it just come up that I wasn't fit. I was like, from like round 6, I was just coasting and just try to do anything I could do. And I got a lot of.
He's the kind of guy that you're going to get found out about if you're not fit.
Of
because
course,
he's a proper rugged geezer.
Of course, and like, I wouldn't change it for the best, because it's maybe who I am today. It's maybe the man I am today, maybe the fight I am today. So I just know now preparation is key. And me generally I believe I'm the best in my weight division. You guys have got the platform, so that's all I need is platform and time. And I generally do believe I'm the best in my weight division.
Well, we've got the platform, but we've also got a lot of domestic fighters that are coming through. And I think it's such an interesting time, because when you look at where you're sitting at the moment, you're sitting on that domestic ladder, right? So you're Commonwealth champion, you're of the guys that are not yet on the world level or chasing the world level, you're arguably top of the tree in the division. Then you've got guys that probably look at you and say, man, I don't really want Zelfa Barrett. I want the world title shot. And I look at guys like Martin Ward. I look at guys like John O'Carroll, these kind of fights. I mean, you were at the Quigg Carroll fight, and you've got to be chasing those guys now, haven't you? That are going past domestic level. What's your thoughts on the likes of Martin Ward and John O'Carroll, particularly?
To be honest, I like John O'Carroll looked good against Quigg. He improved since his last fight. And Martin J was a very good boxer, but I really don't. But I believe that I'm on their level or a level above, because I won't be here and I won't be dedicating my life if I didn't think that my skill set, I've got more ability than more of these fighters, even some of the American fighters. I generally do believe in myself. So, like I said, all I need is preparation. I believe I've got my skill sets world level. I believe it. My knockouts are looking good. Like,
good. Well, let's talk about world level. For me, like when I'm planning your career out right now, it's all about momentum, which is difficult right now, but it won't be once we start back up. It's about profile. It's about getting people talking about you, but it's about moving you up the levels at the right speed. Let's talk about the top of the top.
Yeah.
Firstly, what did you think of the Tevin Farmer fight against Jojo Diaz? And again, that's another. Those kind of guys is where you've got to be chasing. Did you see that coming?
Of course. Nah. You know what? Jojo Diaz is good. And Tevin Farmer is so slick and whatever. But I just thought Joe Diaz has got that power and the timing just to catch him. And and Tevin Farmer, he said he didn't have the best camp or whatever. But I generally do believe Jojo Diaz will beat him again. And they're the kind of fighters I'm looking at and I'm watching, because I think I can do what they can do.
One fight, and I think this guy, although might have lost a little bit of momentum lately, Miguel Burchell, proper tough.
He's a
fight.
Tough Mexican.
I mean, when we talk about the likes of Ronnie Clark, this is another level of toughness and ruggedness
he's a tough guy,
and can punch as well.
Of course, but I just believe styles make fights, and if that fight was happening, my style would be all wrong for him. Movement, fast. Don't get me wrong, he's relentless in his own way, and he's a world champion, of course. But me believing in myself, I believe, if the opportunity was there at the right time, I can beat him.
Talk about Manchester quickly, because we have lost a couple of great fighters in their careers coming to an end in Anthony Crolla and Scott Quigg. And when both of those guys who boxed recently, we had a great crowd for Quigg, but we had a really great crowd for Crolla, and we had Katie Taylor in there that night as well. You got it on a plate in Manchester, haven't you? I mean, it is for me. We talk about great fight cities, and Newcastle's unbelievable, Leeds is fantastic, but Manchester's historic. I remember going up there, obviously with Pat Barrett days, but also with Michael Brodie. I remember going to the G-Mex watching Michael Brodie against Injin Chi. It was unbelievable, and Manchester's always really been the hub, for British boxing. So really, for you, it's there for you on a plate. If we can build you, the city can really get behind you.
Of course, there's 2 fighters that have left the sport, like you said, Scott Quigg and Crolla, and they need someone to fight the light, and I believe I'm the fighter to do that. And there's no crowd like a Manchester crowd, man. It's the best feeling in the world. I boxed at the MEN and I done a 6 rounder and I thought I made it. You know what I mean? So I genuinely do believe with you guys, I'll be a world champion there. I'll win a world title and my name will be in the bright lights. I genuinely do believe it.
Well, that is the plan, my friend. That is the plan.
Of course.
Look forward to having you back. Be ready for the end of June.
I'm ready, man. Look.
That's all I know. Look at those guns. Levels.
I'm ready.
Levels. Right, be ready, Zelfa, and I'll
Thank
speak
you.
to you
Yeah,
soon,
man.
mate. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, mate. Zelfa Barrett there, Commonwealth Super Featherweight champion. Great fighter. Great chance for him to do something big in Manchester. Right, we are going to go to now, I believe, to Kid Galahad. Kid Galahad, are we... Okay, I can't remember the order. Yeah, we Kid Galahad next. Then we're Joe Cordina, and then we're the special one, Kell Brook. So, going well, if we can just make sure Mr. Galahad is online. If he's not online, we're going to switch up the timings because I want to make sure we go smooth. Kid Galahad, if you're online, stick in the old request. Right, you know what we're going to do? I know he's online. He might not have done his hair. We're going to go Joey Cordina. You're the Matchroom Boys, social media. If you're online listening, tell Kid Galahad we'll come to him after this man, Joe Cordina. Which I deliberately, I should have baited Zelfa Barrett a little bit more about you in that little.
Well, I thought you were going to mention my name.
No, I was going to, but I didn't want to get any beef going because I want to keep you two apart just for a little bit. You know, I think that's a mega fight that's going to be mentioned. Firstly, I'll go backwards on him. What do you think about Zelfa Barrett?
Good fighter. I've watched him for a while. Obviously, I know he's good mates with Lyndon, and yeah, even when I was an amateur, I used to watch him. He's a good fighter, man. Good.
I think, Joe, like one of the things that people talk about is when you come down from lightweight to super featherweight. I think when you first come in, shout out to Whale Protein, by the way. Shout out to Whale, unrivaled sports drink. You know, when you come down from lightweight to super featherweight, for me, I was so pleased with that because when you came into the sport in the professional ranks, you come in at super featherweight, you moved to lightweight as well. And you went on, you won a British title at lightweight. No problems. But I was so pleased with not only how you boxed against Tinoco in Monaco, but how well you made that weight as well. And you feel that that's going to be the weight class that you're going to go on and challenge for a world championships at.
Yeah, I believe when I was at lightweight, I didn't get out of first gear, sorry. And I beat everyone in front of me very comfortably. And I was just making weights too easy. I was going to the gym the week of the fights, and I'm only like a pound, 2 pound over. And Tony's keep telling me you need to move down. So obviously I was just pushing that aside. But obviously when you start stepping up the levels and you start moving towards European and world level, they're all big guys and they all can punch. They all fit. They're all strong, and that's when the weight is going to be the big difference. So I just thought, let me try it out, see how I get on. And to be honest, I made it just as comfortable as I made lightweight. So for me, it was the best decision I ever made.
I don't want to embarrass you, but for me, you are probably, I think, one of the top young prospects in world boxing right now. I think prospect is maybe a little bit of the wrong word because, like I say, you're already world ranked. You've already won British titles. But I think you're ready now to take that step for a name. You know, top 15. We know you were due to box early May in Cardiff. That's more likely to be either behind closed doors at end of June, July, or even running into August as well. But where do you feel you're at? Because I noticed, like, you never call anyone out. You never have any smack talk at all, which I like because I think you've got a great image and I think you're going to be a great ambassador for boxing, particularly in Wales. But for me, the way you breeze past Tinoco and those kind of guys, I really think, Joe, that, and I know we're led by Tony and the guys in the gym, but I really think next should be that kind of name. We looked at like Johnny Gonzalez and, you know, those kind of names. I don't think you're far off fighting for a world title.
Yeah, well, you know the names that we were looking at, and there was 3 of them that was ex-world champions. So for me, that's where I want to be. I want to be in that mix. I believe the talent I got is good enough. I work hard. Obviously, you know that. You speak to Tony quite often, and I'm one of the hardest workers in the gym. So for me, and not only that, I've sacrificed so much of my life, not just for like the boxing and the going out and all that sort of stuff. I've sacrificed staying home with my family. I live away up in Essex with Tony. I actually live with Tony.
In Tony's house.
Yeah, in Tony's on the side in the garage. So I've sacrificed so much, and I believe that I'm capable of beating the world champions right now. There's one that is like that, and I think, okay, a little bit more time.
Who's that?
I'm realistic. Birchelt.
Yeah,
I'm realistic. I'm not one of them. Just to say, oh yeah,
well, you don't need
I believe
to
in
gamble.
myself. No,
you don't need to. I mean, look, everybody's got to gamble at some point, but for me, you gamble when it's the right time to gamble, and to put you in those kind of fights. I believe you can beat Jojo Diaz. I really do, and I believe you can beat Miguel Berchelt. But what the thing is why now? I think everyone's going to be under pressure when we come back to have those compelling fights, and that's good for you because I think you're ready for it anyway. But like again, it's just a case of pulling the trigger at the right time, but also understanding that you can't. You coming out of that Rio class, with Buatsi, with Josh Kelly. You got Kelly stepping up to fight Avanesian. That's a proper test. Buatsi not going to be long. You got a Coley's fighting for the world title. So it's almost like you got to stay relevant with those guys and move at a similar pace. But it's when everybody feels you're ready. But I honestly think you're going to be fighting for world titles in 2021. Yeah,
well, I was hoping to get it towards the end of this year, but obviously we never knew this was going to happen, and obviously everyone's in the same boat. So 2021 is definitely I'm looking to fight for a world title, and not just fight for it, win it, and defend it. Like you said there, I believe I can beat Jojo Diaz, even Berchelt, but he's the one in the division that you look at and you think, okay, right, maybe I need a couple more world level fights. And then we take him on once we've had that and the experience at that world level. But I believe I can beat Jamal Herring, all of the world champions in the super featherweight division. So I think I'm ready now, and I've sparred world class opposition all my life. Do you get me? Even when I was an amateur, you had Kevin Mitchell coming to spar us and things like that. I sparred hundreds around with Luke Campbell.
You spent many rounds.
Luke Campbell, I sparred hundreds around with Luke Campbell and picked so much and learned so much off of Luke. And I believe I'm ready.
Talk about that relationship with Tony Sims, because one thing I've noticed about you is, and I don't know whether it's just you're expressing it a lot more, but you've always been quite a quiet guy, but you've gone particularly focused now. I know I've noticed that your faith is very strong as well, and I know that's a big part of Tony's life as well. But a good solid trainer-fighter relationship with you and Tony Sims, and seems to be gelling really, really well.
Yeah, I speak to Tony, like even when I'm home. I've been home now for the last 3-4 weeks, and every night he'll send me a new fighter to watch or a new fight. I spoke to him yesterday. We were on the phone for about 40 minutes and just going through fighters and different eras and whatever else. And when I first got in with Tony and started working with Tony, it was just we gelled straight away. And for me, it wasn't about, he looks good and he does all this. It was just the advice he was giving and how he looks after his fighters. And for me, that's what I needed. I'm moving away from my family. I don't need no one coming and sort of taking me for a ride. He's solely into his boxes, and that's what I love. He's up in the mornings with us running. He does everything with us, and obviously I live with him, so I'm spending the most time with him. And even now and again, he'll just say, "Oh, Joe, come in the house. I'm going to watch a fight. Do you want to watch this? We'll be watching this show." So that's what I love about Tony. He's a proper man.
Finally, big plans underway to try and get boxing back in some capacity. We know that initially it could be behind closed doors. How does that sit with you? We know, like, you got to fight. That's at the end of the day. But I really feel that sometimes when you get that kind of environment, fighters can slip up, whether they haven't had the right camp because they've come back, or whether they just can't lift themselves for that performance at that particular time in front of 40 or 50 people in a weird environment. It's a bit like, when you boxed on the big shows, the AJ shows, sometimes you box a little bit early and there's not really many people there and you can't really get the heart or the adrenaline going to produce that performance. But for you, just business as usual, just something you've got to go through and try and reach that performance.
Well, if you speak to a Coley, Buatsi, Josh Kelly, all them fighters, you ask them some of the shows we've been on in the amateurs and how many people
Yeah.
are there. And some of them are like horse stables. It's unbelievable, and we've boxed all around the world, Kazakhstan, with actually no one there apart from the coaches and some of the other boxers. So it's no different to me. There's someone across trying to punch my head off, and I'm going to try and do the same with him. So it's not an issue of me fighting behind closed doors or in front of 80,000 people. It doesn't matter to me. But the one thing is, and that one thing I'll be concentrating on is getting myself close to a world title. So that's my motivation, and giving my kids whatever they want in the future. So that's what motivates me, and that's what gets me up every morning when I'm running and in the gym when I'm training. So that's what I'm focused on.
Good man, Joe. Class words. Stay ready. I know you will be. Won't be
Yeah,
long, mate.
of course.
Won't be
No,
long.
I'm ready. Always.
Good man. All right, we'll speak soon.
Sam.
Everyone's showing their muscles off today. This is making me feel sick. All right, Joe. Take care, mate.
Sam, mate.
Bye-bye. Joe Cordina there. For me, just such a brilliant prospect. Joe Cordina against Jojo Diaz. Oh, go on then. Right. Kid Galahad, are you in the house? I can't find Kid Galahad. I got him. There we go. Hang fire, Baz. Let's go. There we go. Right. I've found you, Baz, but just give me 2 seconds. Stand by, people. Stand by. Oh, Baz, where are you going, mate? We're dropping in and out here, Baz. Hold on, people. I found you there. Let's go. Right. Every time I come out, Baz, you disappear. Right. Hang tight. Oh, man. I got you there. So. Oh, Bazza. Right. I think this is actually my fault, which I feel bad for. So let me just crack on. Someone says, I'm getting a lot of stick here. Baz, send that invite again. Kid Galahad in the house. A lot of nice comments from Mr. Calzaghe. Ping that invite in. Gotcha. No, I've done it again. Oh, I've done this again. Do you know what? I've piped the wrong person in. He declined me. Stay there, Baz. Right. Now we're good. Baz!
Hey!
What's happening?
I'm good. How are you?
Baz, do you live in a ring?
I'm living in the gym.
Is that
I've been quarantined here. For the last 4 weeks, I've been stuck in here, training every day, grinding. First of all,
is that true?
That's true, honestly.
Really?
Listen, yeah.
Is that the Ingle gym?
Ingle gym, show you.
Wow.
Look,
you got the keys. You got your bed. Look, you got your little pillow there.
Everything. My iPad there. Look.
Nice.
Listen,
yeah.
I was the OG. I was the big man.
Bazza.
Big Baz.
He's all right. He was a little bit. I mean, listen, it was frightening times for us because not just him having a heart attack, but him being in hospital at the moment. I mean, it was a nightmare, you know. So he's back. He spent the first few days giving it the old, you know, my life's about to change. I've got to just slow everything down, and you know, maybe it's time for you to take over the reins. And now he's just got back to normal, basically saying like, I'm back. You know, he did 20 days straight in the gym on quarantine. So this is why, like, and then he ended up having a heart attack.
Oh, it's good.
So
he needs to stay fit. He's got a lot going on, hasn't he?
Staying fit? You staying fit? What's that?
I'm ready, Eddie.
Yeah?
I'm always on it.
It's the last performance against, last time out against Marrero, for me, one of the best performances of your career. So
it was a good performance. But listen, Eddie, when you're getting in that world title, don't start, Eddie, with this trying to big up this kid from Leeds. Because you know I'm the number one featherweight.
The Wi-Fi
you know this,
Eddie.
The Wi-Fi you know this, Eddie. I don't know why you're bigging up Eddie since you've had him.
This is a situation, right? So Warrington wants to unify. You want to fight Warrington, right?
Yeah.
But and I'm not just saying this because now we represent him, but you can understand in his position why he wants to try and have that defining unification fight, Ring Magazine, etc.
100%. But Eddie, can who? Who's he fighting, Eddie?
Kanzu.
We don't even know who he is.
Well, he's going to be the WBA super champ. He's going to be fighting for the Ring Magazine belt.
He's not the champ, Eddie. Eddie, that's like saying Canelo is super champion, WBA super champ. He's not. Callum Smith is. That's like saying that heavyweight kid, that car, is heavyweight champion of the world.
But you got Santa Cruz, who's moving up. So really,
you're gonna try and get him the title. That's what you're gonna do. Yes. He's not fighting a unified champion. You're gonna try and get the title.
He's not fighting a unified champion, but he's fighting a world champion.
He's not a world champion, Eddie. You're gonna make him into a world champion.
Do you think you beat Josh Warrington last time?
My honest opinion, I know I beat him, and I know he knows I beat him.
Do you think you did enough?
He knows.
Do you think you did enough?
100. Even you tweet, Eddie. So don't be trying to come with that one, Eddie. Now you've got him, Eddie. Don't be trying to that one with me.
I thought Warrington won by 4 rounds, personally. Now.
All right. Okay.
But it was a close fight. But do you feel like, listen, what I'm saying about the Marrero performances?
Yeah.
That was conclusive, right? And I do feel like sometimes, you know, when you put those performances together, there are no arguments. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in that fight? I know you weren't particularly well going into that fight either. I know you don't want to talk, like, you haven't really talked about that, but
we don't want to go down that path, Eddie. We don't want nothing. But listen, let me just say, Eddie, in this rematch, when I fight him, trust me, Eddie, he ain't going past 8 rounds.
You 100%. Believe you stop Josh Warrington next time?
Honest to God, I know I will stop Josh Warrington, and I know he knows that.
Who do you think is the best world champion at 120?
In the featherweight division? Only 26?
Yeah.
Me, Josh Warrington, then Gary Russell Jr.
Do you think Josh Warrington's the best out of the champs?
I think he's the second best after me, yeah.
The champs, yeah?
Yeah. He's the second best, 100%.
What's your thoughts on Shakur Stevenson?
Shakur Stevenson's very good. He's solid. He's good. I think he's good, but I just think he needs a bit more seasoning. You know, I don't think he's ready. Because realistically, what world champion, at that level, who's he beat? The best name is beat. It's not really been, you know, really anyone.
He's confident, though, isn't he?
Yeah, of course he is. He's young, hungry, and he's confident. You know, he comes from a good pedigree. And, you know, he's going to be confident. He's got all them kids behind him, bigging him up, saying how good he is. And he is actually good. But I just think he's not ready yet. He just needs a bit more seasoning. And he probably will end up being one of the best fighters.
How highly do you rate Gary Russell? Because when I was speaking to Warrington and stuff, like, they fancied that fight with Gary Russell. I rate Gary Russell. I think he's a quality.
Eddie, they say they fancy it, but they don't fancy shit.
They do. No, they were up for it. Honestly, we tried to get that fight.
It's like the same. Look, it's one of them ones, Eddie. We fancy it. Eddie. You know, really, we want get us that fight, Eddie. Get us that fight. Make it happen. It was one of them ones.
Yeah, I don't think you and Warrington are ever going to get on, to be fair. I don't think you're ever going to be.
No, we're not. We wouldn't agree.
Finally, Baz, what's quarantine life been like for you? Is it basically, you're always in quarantine?
Yeah, it's just the same, innit, really. You can't go to Costa for a cup of coffee. Other than that, it's been the same for me, Eddie, really. Just need the boxing to come back, don't we?
Well, it'll be back soon. And listen, whatever happens, you are mandatory for that title. Mandatory, you won the final.
100%. I'm glad I just got that fighting before
I know.
always.
Okay.
I'm lucky, Anna. I'm lucky.
You're in a great spot, Baz. Whatever happens, mate, and we've got your back. Don't worry. All right.
Then, well,
Thanks
God
for
bless
coming
them. Take care, my man.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe in that
Appreciate it.
angle, Jim.
Take care, man. Thank
Cheers,
you.
mate.
Appreciate
Bye.
that.
He wants it, old Baz, doesn't he? He wants that Warrington rematch. We got the special one. Yes. This is it. The last 10 minutes with the special one. Former IBF welterweight champion of the world, Kell Brook.
Yeah.
What's happening? We just had Baz on. I don't know if you see. He's asleep.
How are we doing, Eduardo?
He's in the gym.
Eh?
Kid
He's
Galahad.
in the gym sleeping. He's like a rat.
He is, isn't he?
He can't
Proper
get
gym
out of
rat.
the gym.
How's things for you, mate? I know you must be. You got 3 daughters.
I'm
I've got 2
crazy.
daughters, mate.
I've got these 3 little girls running mad, 8-year-old,
Right.
5 and 1-year-old. Can you imagine that, Eddie? You know. You've
Right,
got
I sent you a message last week. I was like, mate, do you want to come on Insta Live? You just put no. You're like, no, mate. I said, why?
I know I said I was busy last week, Eddie, but you didn't have to get me pal on.
Mate, you're like, I know. But you're like, as soon as you said to me, no, I'm busy, I was like, busy? How can you be busy? Right, that's it. I'm going to get Amir.
I'm going out of my head from when I wake up, Eddie, they're there at my feet. Let's do this, let's do that. We're doing that Joe Wicks in the morning, keeping him fit.
The thing is with you, like, it's a bit of a blow for you because you were on a great run, like, physically. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know that, you don't actually look too heavy, but you're not obviously where you were in your life.
It's hard, isn't it?
Of course it's hard, because I know with
horrible.
you, the one thing with you, which you love more than anything, is food.
Yeah.
Food. And I know.
But when you're bored around here, what do you do?
Of course, we're all stuck at home.
You got a fridge.
Like, cakes, everything, you know what I mean? So, what's the training? Have you been ticking over? What can you do? You got yourself a little setup there?
Yeah, I've got a gym in house doing little bits, but it's hard where I live. When we go out, there's police everywhere. It's like there's a lot of old people around where I live, and obviously there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do because everything's locked down.
For you particularly, the one everybody's talking about at the moment, Terence Crawford, important more than ever to keep that weight down because we know if it comes at 47. I think with you, it's like, I don't know what it is about you, right? But when you have to do something, I know you always do it, right? And we spent years, didn't we, where I'd call you up and ask you how your weight was. You'd tell me you're about stone lighter than where you really were, and we know that.
Trick, though, isn't it? And every boxer's trick.
I know, but when
a few pound off.
but when you're in a position, you always made it. You never missed weight, right? Like as bad as you were against Carson Jones making weight, and as particularly bad as you were against Errol Spence. Probably, I've never seen you like that before. It is a mission for you to get to 47.
That muscle gain from Golovkin. I think that was a big one with that.
Yeah,
it was so hard to get that weight off.
But you're huge anyway. But at 47, you've got it in there to make it if it's the right fight and the right opportunity for you.
Yeah, the signals we're getting from Crawford's team, they want it. Bob Arum, it's there to be made. So that's a huge fight. Crawford's one of the pound for pound best fighters out there. I said before I left this game, I want to fight the best out there. So I want.
Well, listen, I don't think anyone can. You boxed Sean Porter, beat him. You boxed Gennady Golovkin. You boxed Errol Spence. If you box Terence Crawford, you've boxed virtually all of the top fighters in that division as well. Everything coming through about Crawford. Of course, people coming through about Amir Khan. Have you just given up? I mean, it seems like you've kind of given that up for the last year or so now. Anyway, the prospect of fighting.
I've given that angle up because there's no more I can. It's gone past the line now for me. I've done everything what's being asked of me to make it happen. Still got nowhere.
People talking about Liam Smith, right? Liam Smith's a smart guy. Like, he understands the business, right?
Yeah.
And he likened the situation of Amir and you to you fighting Liam Smith, where it's like Amir wants Manny Pacquiao, you want Terence.
I know, but he's probably right. But with me and Eddie, me and Khan, you know, we can talk. When the money's right, we make the fight happen. And it's same with Liam Smith. I'll take that fight. But when we talk about money, that's when we can get sticky on that, innit? Because that's like I said, with prize fighters and.
That's a great fight. You confident with Liam Smith that you win? Do you understand what he was saying? Like, I think, and I agree with this to a point. Amir doesn't, you know, I know Amir believes he can beat you, but to lose to you would really kick him in the nuts.
I don't know, like Amir Khan would lie and duck away from the answer. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I believe that.
And if you lost to Liam Smith, would you leave the sport thinking, fuck, you know, like,
Absolutely, I understand. That's the feeling.
That's why the reward has got to be worth the risk.
Yeah, and that's same with any fight. You know that.
I saw a couple of comments the other day from our friend Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw them having a little pop saying that you were a little, you know, he says he wants Golovkin now because he's there for the taking.
He's there for the taking now, yeah?
Yeah, now you can fight.
He didn't have the pen, did he, and the balls to do when it got presented to him.
You know what? A lot of people talk about that. It's like, I don't think it's easy to look back on something and say, yeah, shouldn't have fought Gennady Golovkin. And to be honest, if you hadn't have busted your cheekbone in that fight, then I don't think we would have looked back on it in the same way. But people have to understand, you were in a position when you beat Sean Porter, no one wanted to fight you. You had an opportunity to fight Jesse Vargas in a unification. The pound went the other way. The money was shit.
Yeah.
And it was just, we were in a situation where you were coming off the injury, you know, you were stop-start, and it was like, that opportunity. I remember I was in the garden and it was like, mate, do you want to fight Golovkin? We knew you shouldn't really be at welterweight. And it was just one of them where, I mean, people don't really understand the balls in that fight. And you've done well in that fight.
I did.
Like, I think I think you've got to look back on that fight and think, if you hadn't busted your cheekbone up in that fight, like, and by the way, he was at his absolute prime.
It was his prime. Look at Bullman getting in with him. Fronting him up with that uppercut. See that one there, bro?
Right, that was one of the most electric 3 rounds I've seen, because I've got to tell you, after 10 seconds of that fight, where he backed you up and he hit you with a left hook and he hit you with a body shot, I heard the body shot and I was like, oh, mate. And you've done so well in that fight to come through it. But for me, I really feel like unfinished business, you know, where you had a stop-start career, you won a world title, you've been in huge fights, you sold out your own football club.
I've never had that momentum, have I?
No, you haven't.
You
but
know, like,
I still feel like after your last performance, you've got that momentum. For me, I know we won the Crawford fight, and I know it's there, and I still think that you've got world championships in you at 54 as well. Do you know what I mean? And I almost wish there was a 50 weight class, because it's kind of like that's your magic number, isn't it? 50, 51.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, I would love to see you go on and fight for world title. I believe you beat Texiera. I believe you beat Rosario. And, you know, for me, I would rather you fight. But we can't turn down a Crawford fight.
Of course you can't, you know, and look, you know, me on my game, and obviously them extra few pounds, we're going to have to wait and see me sat here now, but, you know, what I was doing for the last fight, I'll lie to her and everything else. If I got in there with the same app, you know, I'd give him a real fight. You know that, Eddie.
Listen, you're a quality operator, mate. It's good to see your face, mate. It's good to see your face. You're where it all started for us.
I know.
You know,
we've come along well.
Times sitting in... Mate, I know, look at all those belts in the background. Great memories.
We've done it from Hillsborough Leisure Centre. Hillsborough Leisure Centre, me and you, Ed.
All of the lights. Hillsborough said, love more undo, out to beat. The Sean Porter victory in LA, that's still massively underrated. The kid's come on, he's like top level against everyone now. Yeah. But, you know, you have been a stalwart of British boxing. You are still there. You have a lot left in the tank, my friend. And we'll be there backing you every step of the way.